All right, well, hello and welcome to another daily edition of Stock Market Mutterings, trade review and recap for the 12th of November, the trade review and recap that will kick off what we know is going to be a great week, right? I hope you guys got off to a good start this week. As always, if you need help with your personal trading, take a moment. Visit thelincolnlist.com, click on the trade room tab, and you can start trading with us right away. Now, we'll first go over some of the stuff that we were trading. I'll talk to you a little bit about a few of the setups that we were using today because we changed it up just a little bit and we started off good. And then we'll take a look at some of the trades that I think might line up well for everyone tomorrow, and hopefully they turn into something good for you and you can make a little bit of money with it. So one of the things we've been talking about, number one here, has been these insane ranges. Now, the pattern I've noticed with the market, there's one thing you have a pattern with the stock, but you also have a pattern with market behavior. And one of the things that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks is that this market is super trendy and it has insane ranges. Now, when I say super trendy, I mean that when it gets going in a direction, it just does not stop. It's just like everybody's on board. They're either all selling and stocks are flushing, they're just panicking out like they did this morning, or they're going vert. So we've had this 6, 7, 8 day, whatever it was, this big run up, this big market bounce over the last couple of weeks. Friday, you get some hefty selling, and then today it just starts out, and it was especially the beta names. Facebook, Netflix, Apple, Google, Amazon, those guys they just took a beating. They just got taken to the woodshed early. Now, one of the things that we were looking at, as I was saying, is how trendy this market is. One trade I don't really like because over the long distance time of my career, I have not done very well with, which is bear flag shorting. But I kind of been talking about putting that back in because it just seems to be the trade that works. As I said, when a range gets taken out, whether it's the high of day range or the low of day range, we are seeing aggressive moves in that direction. It's trading from that direction to the next, either support or resistance. And it seems like it's doing that in a straight beeline, like it's on a bullet train. So what we were looking at today is the market was just kind of fading down a little bit early. You had a little small gap. And what I want you to look at is basically, if you don't know anything about bear flag shorting, which I'm sure most of you do, but just in case there's a newbie out there, somebody just trying to learn, a breakdown is the same thing as a breakout. It's just done in reverse. So oftentimes in very strong markets, earnings-related plays, one of my favorite kind of trades is the gap and go, where a stock gaps up and then it takes out pre-market highs. I love to look at pre-market. If a stock can take out pre-market highs and even pre-market lows, you will often see a move further in that direction. So if it breaks through pre-market highs, it often goes a lot higher the first 15, 20 minutes out of the day. So we're using that thing today in reverse because you had a lot of press down here. You had some negative news on Apple. You had a couple like even NVDA. These stocks were really having a hard time just gaining any kind of pre-market traction. So if you look here early on, you've got a small base just right here. I'm sure this is being highlighted for you, just around the 299 and some change level. So this thing has just a very, very tiny gap up, like a fingernail-sized gap up. Sells on down into this level, and then it just kind of bounces. So the very first thing I always look at is that nearest term support or resistance, depending on what area I'm going at. So I'm just kind of looking at this level right here. Let's just say it's 299, just the base of this level. Now, when this thing takes off, you'll see, if you can look real close here, this wick, it actually came all the way up to 302 here at one point. So the very first couple of moves in the morning, it looks like Netflix wants to break out. You've got a solid green bar printing here, and it's starting to approach some of the post-market highs and the closing highs from Friday, which is 304. Now, let's just say hypothetically, this thing were to hold and then trade through 304, then you're talking about something bullish. But the first thing that you get prior to the range being broken to the downside is this thing retraces immediately. So as you're looking at this in real time, what you're seeing is this stock is breaking out, and then within minutes after a breakout, it begins to these are 5-minute candles, so it can't even last 5 minutes. Within a minute or two, it starts retracing itself back, and it does so very aggressive. One of the things I want you guys to look at if you're just trying to learn the technical analysis thing, this is something I can't show you in a video, And a lot of other people never really mention this, and this is the speed. Speed is such an important element to a stock. And what I mean by that is when you're looking at that chart and you see that bar, the speed in which that bar is moving around tells you a lot about the direction of the stock and the interest in that stock, rather than just sitting there going slow, right? So the speed of this retracement was fast. And a lot of this stuff is happening real quick, and I'm like, look, if this thing takes out the lows here, I'm in. I'm just getting in this thing. And it just, as soon as it breaks, instantly 299 down to 295. It just drops $4 within just a couple of minutes. And to me, this was like the worst one out there. This was like a big gainer for us right off the bat. But I'm looking back through stuff. You had like NVDA, which just look at the same thing. You have a small base in the pre-market, loses pre-market here at 201. This thing doesn't even stop till 192. This thing just got sauced for $9 right here, just right off the bat. I think you had the same thing in Apple. Here's Apple losing its base. Well, actually, when it opened up, here's the base for Apple right here in this area, which was 198. As soon as it loses its pre-market lows, look at it, just everything was like this. You go down the list, Amazon, Netflix, Google, NVIDIA, they all just took a beating right there. And I'm sure there's tons of other stocks that look like that. So it was great to catch that nice move, and that really set the tone for the day. But I was looking back at these others like, geez, you could have just thrown money at anything. But hindsight's always 20/20, right? You can always just say I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. So it was good to get that started. Again, that's not one of my favorite trades, because over the last couple of years, the bull market and that buy the dip crowd has really made things tough down there, because as soon as you get down in the hole there, sometimes it seems to break the low a day and then just come snapping right back. No, not today. Today was completely different. You had mega flushes. And then at this point, after wrapping up, we were really looking back at some of our favorite stocks like BABA, BIDU, really wanting to get short these names and even just get short Netflix again on a nice bounce, or NVIDIA. And to be honest with you guys, they just didn't bounce. They came down here, they flushed. Here's the thing right here. Post the pre-market lows getting taken out right there at 143. You see that extra move. So remember, to try to make this a little simpler, because I have a tendency to just run my mouth and rant, is that ranges are the most important thing here. Support, resistance, ranges, and price. When you're looking at certain levels getting taken out, these levels normally they'll just blow right through those levels. And in theory, and in most cases, these stocks should trade to the next following level. So when you're looking at something like a Netflix, and you're wondering when it breaks this, if you're looking, you have to look all the way back on the daily chart. Maybe it doesn't happen in one day, but the way this chart looks in the coming days, according to the action that we're seeing, you've got 275, which was the lows from about a week or so back. You've got to start looking at all of these beta names now. You've got to look at all of these beta names possibly re-challenging their lows. And that goes with Google, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, all these guys, OLED. You could see these reclaiming the lows from a couple of weeks ago. Today's damage was huge, incorporated with what happened on Friday, and you're looking at the market. You have given back several days here of gains, especially here on the Dow. You had 8 days of gains, followed by two wipeout days that took about half of that away. So very aggressive. Back to being on topic, though. Look for these tomorrow. The market was the same way. As soon as the SPY lost to 276, which was the pre-market lows, you got this aggressive selling, and you had one small bounce. Was never really able to get back into anything after that. Now, once we sold off for about an hour, of course, I'm like, well, some of this stuff is down huge, like Apple being down $10, which is monstrous. OLED being down $12. And I'm just fishing around here thinking, okay, well, I'll take a small shot here and there to try to pick up maybe a bounce play. And I took Apple and I took OLED. Yeah, Apple and OLED I took for bounces. And you know what? I didn't get anything out of those. The market just didn't have a bounce. Didn't have a bounce. I actually lost a couple $100 on those trades. They just didn't go. They just didn't go. It wasn't bad. The Netflix was definitely the highlight of the day. And plus I had, what else? BABA. King Baba. I mean, you might as well just pencil me in for a daily trade on Baba, because I actually had Baba from Friday, if you remember. I had a little small piece that I held over, and of course, you know, the flush on that one was nice. But to be honest with you, Baba held up pretty good. I mean, it only went down $4 or $5 when everybody else was down double digits. So what I want to say here is this. As you're moving into tomorrow, if you're trading these bigger beta names and stuff like this, well, it doesn't matter what you're trading. Even if it's like stuff like Roku or Momo or something, take these levels from today. Get you a list together. I mean, so let's just say, for example, you're looking at this Roku. Get you through the bottom here is 40.30, the low pivots of today. Pick out the low spot for today. Tomorrow when it opens up, see where pre-market support and resistance has been. So, you know, right now you've got a very tight range. If you're going to shorten your time frame, you got a very tight range to work with, which is 42.50s to the upside, meaning if this thing can gap and hold and build above 42.50s, then maybe it's a positive day. If it doesn't do that, all the pops get sold, this 40.40 goes down here at the bottom, then yeah, you're going to see some more selling, because there is still a lot of space left in the daily chart all the way down to 33. I know this thing is beat up pretty bad as it is right now, but you can't rule that out. And that's just one example. I mean, you can go through all the charts that you're looking at. It doesn't matter what the stock is. If you're looking at Starbucks, you know, picking out these low $67. If you're looking at something like Grub down here, $84. Just start with today's low. And if you're above that tomorrow, and then you start to see your first move in the morning, press down to that. Pay very close attention to it, especially something like Grub. See, now, what you have with Grub here that might be a little bit different is you're down here pretty close to the lows from the 26th. So one of the things I won't have time to go into here, but I'm just going to throw it out here for you, which I'm sure most of you understand, is that not only is that a good spot for that breakdown to happen on an intraday chart, but if you can coincide that, like a multi-time frame breakdown on a daily chart, then you can get a huge move, because 83.40 on this, where you're sitting right here now at possibly 84. This mid 83.50s goes right here, which is the base of this. This thing's got tons of room to fall. You're going to go all the way back into probably February's lows before this thing can stop. So again, these ranges are amazing right now. And if you get caught on the wrong side of them, you're going to have a long day, that's for sure. But also keep this in mind. It was just 2 days ago we were just ramping up and we were sniffing around, possibly thinking about sniffing around all-time highs. So don't discount tomorrow that this thing doesn't wake up and just haul ass 300 to 400 points. I mean, you don't know. And this is what we do as traders. It's like we can't really be a part of that. We can't just, I don't want to say the word, because you do kind of root for the market here and there to do something. I don't know what the word is I'm looking. I don't even know what it is I'm really trying to say. I do know what it is I'm trying to say. But it's not up to you to decide what the market direction is. It's not up to me to decide whether Grub wants to go up $10 tomorrow or drop $10 tomorrow, or the fact that Baba does really good on singles day, but the stock goes down a couple bucks. It's not up to me to decide that. I just look at things and I decide, hey, this is where we are today. That's the definition of being a day trader. You're trading the day. And you just look at stuff and you just say, look, I think today we're talking about a bullish day. You know, maybe this stuff does break out tomorrow. Maybe Baba goes up over 145, 146, and the market wants to pull back, take back a couple of hundred of these points that it lost today. Maybe it wants to do that first thing in the morning. Then maybe it wants to sell off. But you see also, like we talked about Netflix, Baba did the same thing, breaking out early, taking off early, and then just immediately retracing. So watch for those instant sell-offs. And that's why I really keep stressing you cannot, in this market right now, chase in the first 5-minute greens. I'm sorry. You might pull some of those off, but this is the consequences when it doesn't work, is these stocks are dropping, like in Bob's case, 146 to 143 in a fraction of just a few seconds to a minute. I mean, you're seeing some extraordinary ranges in here. So you got to be careful of that. So anyway, let's watch that. I got a feeling you've really got to look now. It doesn't matter what the stock is. You've got to start looking at the bottoms of these channels right now for tomorrow, because you're at critical levels here. If that panic starts out early and those bottom levels, like here on Baba, gets taken out of 140, you can expect more selling. You can expect a aggressive morning of more selling that shoves these prices down lower into either a moving average or past supports. If they're able to hold those levels early, then that possibly could set the tone for an update. Again, figure out what you want to do on both sides, and then you'll be ready. You'll be ready when it happens. So anyway, let's stop it there. As I said, it's a good start to the week. Green is good. Green is always good. We have quite a few day winning streak here going on. I think it was only 2 bumpy days at the beginning of the month, so past that. But some of this stuff, it requires a lot of your attention, and I know for some of you that you're seeing this for the first time, and I'll be the first to admit it can be crazy. It's exhausting. It's, regardless of what people say, it takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of concentration, and you got to be on your toes here to trade through some of this stuff, because again, you get caught on the wrong side of something, or you decide to break a rule like not take a loss or not put a stop in, you can get murdered on something like NVDA that dropped 16 bucks. It can be a real bad day for you. So anyway, if you need help, you know where I'm at. You wanted to ask me a question, support at thelincolnlist.com. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Trade well tomorrow. I'll talk to you then.